I had worked for years to build my small startup, pouring every ounce of energy, creativity, and late-night determination into the office space I had finally managed to secure downtown. It wasn't much, a modest floor with a couple of private offices and a shared work area. But it was mine, a place where my ideas could grow, where my team could thrive, and where I felt the first real taste of independence. That's why the moment my father, Richard, leaned back in his leather chair, folded his hands, and said with a calm but firm voice, "We're taking your office space," my heart sank. I froze, caught somewhere between disbelief and instinctive resistance. I opened my mouth to protest, but something in his tone, the quiet authority that had shaped my childhood, made me pause. I nodded and agreed, though inside I felt every bit of my frustration, anger, and disappointment building like a storm ready to break. I walked out of his office feeling hollow, my mind racing with questions. How could he do this? Was it really necessary? Couldn't he see how much this space meant to me? I had spent nights negotiating leases, repainting walls, setting up furniture, and coordinating with contractors, yet all of it seemed irrelevant in the face of his decision. I remembered my father's words about legacy, family priorities, and business strategy, the same ones I had resisted for years, and suddenly I understood that his vision of control over family and resources left little room for personal independence. I nodded because I realized that arguing, fighting, or pleading would achieve nothing. Agreeing didn't mean I accepted it. It meant I was thinking ahead, figuring out how to turn what felt like a loss into something I could survive, and eventually thrive on. The next few days were a whirlwind. My father's team moved into the office, rearranging furniture and redecorating in his style, sleek, polished, and imposing, with no regard for the environment I had cultivated. I watched quietly, careful not to show resentment, learning to contain my emotions in a way that would not give him satisfaction. At first, it felt like defeat, like a personal violation, but as I observed the changes, I noticed opportunities. My team was resilient. They adapted quickly, setting up temporary workstations at home and at other shared spaces. We began brainstorming remotely, using technology in ways I had previously resisted, discovering that our productivity didn't rely on a physical space alone. The initial sting of my father taking the office slowly transformed into a determination to innovate, to show that ownership and control were not the same thing as capability and success. Weeks passed, and the situation evolved further. My father's presence in the office brought unexpected scrutiny from his team, and the pressure to align with his style created tension that he hadn't anticipated. Meanwhile, my team and I, working independently, developed new strategies, pitched new clients, and expanded our operations into areas we hadn't explored before. I realized that agreeing to his terms, nodding at his decision instead of resisting, had given me the space to regroup, to plan quietly, and to act decisively without confrontation. It wasn't compliance, it was strategy. I had ceded the office physically but retained my autonomy, my vision, and my ability to act on my own terms. By the end of the quarter, the results were undeniable. Our revenue increased, new clients signed contracts, and our reputation as a creative, adaptable team grew stronger than ever. Meanwhile, my father's team, though impressive on paper, struggled with the cultural nuances and innovative approach that we had nurtured. It was subtle, not dramatic, but the difference was there. The office space alone did not make success, and my father's takeover had inadvertently highlighted the value of independence, persistence, and thoughtful leadership. I realized that agreeing to his decision, nodding in that moment of tension, had been the wisest choice, not because it pleased him, but because it allowed me to redirect my energy toward what truly mattered, the growth, resilience, and potential of my team and myself. Looking back, I understood that some losses are temporary, some battles are best avoided, and some nods of agreement conceal deeper strategy. My father may have thought he was asserting control, but in truth, he had underestimated my ability to adapt, to pivot, and to thrive. The office space may have belonged to him now, but my vision, my team, and my determination were untouched. And in that quiet victory, I found a lesson that would shape every future decision. Sometimes, the most powerful action is measured restraint, careful observation, and the patience to turn an apparent defeat into the foundation for long-term success.